guys, welcome back to the United Star. So Prasham, the last I think couple of weeks have been uh, a very tumultuous time for our keepers. We've had the media come out and a lot of pundits come out and say that De Gea is not good enough for United and that he's past his prime and that United should look to offload De Gea and get in Dean Henderson. I think Paul Scholes said that yesterday. I think that he feels that De Gea is not good enough. Uh, what are your opinions? Do you think there is some substance in this, or is it just uh, you know like headlines for the news articles?
PJ, actually, I think it's a very interesting question. This I don't think there is an easy answer to it because I think last year we had done a tactical analysis of where David De Gea has been going wrong and what are the mistakes. I think he's definitely sorted those mistakes out. And coming to this season, I think he has made a couple of errors that have led directly to a goal. But apart from that, he's also got the man of the match 3 or 4 times. So it has sort of become sort of a mixed bag. So it's almost like a Jordan Pickford like situation here where we don't know what De Gea is going to sort of do. He doesn't inspire the same confidence as the prime David De Gea did. But even today, it's not, at least now the confidence is back that, if it goes to it, De Gea is there. That confidence is definitely back that he's there. Now, he might make the odd mistake, and I think all keepers do, but definitely that prime De Gea is not come back yet, or he may not even come back. It even could be that he may not even come back from now on. The other thing is that the question I often ask, and I had asked it on one of our podcasts as well, which goalkeeper in the world is actually an improvement on David De Gea? So I think there are only 3 or 4. I think there's Manuel Neuer, he's a generational goalkeeper. So he would be an improvement. There's Jan Oblak, who would be an improvement. And possibly Alisson would be an improvement on David De Gea. Apart from these
I think
three
Ter Stegen also.
goalkeepers, I think Priyank Ter Stegen and De Gea are very similar in the sense that if you watch Barcelona play, I think you'll see that Ter Stegen also makes the same kind of mistakes often that De Gea does. But if I just show you a highlights reel of select matches where both of them have done well, you'll be blown by how good they are. So I think that is why I don't mention Ter Stegen. I'm talking about keepers who are not prone to sort of. I mean, obviously saying Alisson's name here makes me sort of sound stupid at this moment. But I think Alisson is a very assured goalkeeper, and the mistakes he's made are sort of kicking out. They're not mistakes he's made in terms of fumbling the ball or going under between his legs or something like that. The mistakes he's made is through kicking out. So that is what you have to keep in mind. So that is why I think these three are the only keepers who are a direct improvement on David De Gea. So I think that is one thing we need to clear out. In my view, there are no other goalkeepers in the world that we can bring in who are an improvement to David De Gea. David De Gea makes mistakes, but I think every goalkeeper makes mistakes. Manuel Neuer made mistakes for 2 or 3 years consistently, but now he's back to his best. So that is almost part of the job, you can say. Peter Schmeichel has made some horrendous mistakes. It's just that at the end of the career, you remember how he came back and what he sort of helped the team win. Now with David De Gea, we have to remember that 3 or 4 years, this man has been the difference between us being respectable or finishing even maybe outside the top half of the table. So from that perspective, I think he is yet good enough for Manchester United. I don't agree with Paul Scholes that he's not good enough. But then the question is that reports are that only one of them can stay at United now, Henderson or De Gea. Now this is where things get tricky. If we get Henderson in, one thing I tell you for sure, Priyan, from now is that it is not going to be a straight Henderson coming in and being spectacular or being brilliant. It is going to be a learning curve for Dean Henderson, and we have to accept that he is going to make mistakes. Now, are we willing to take that chance? Are we at a stage at this point in our sort of progression or growth under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer where we can actually challenge for something serious and a small or and continuous mistakes can cost us? Are we willing to take that chance or not? Is what we have to ask ourselves. In the long run, obviously Dean Henderson is the better keeper, you could argue, because he's maybe got 15 years of goalkeeping left in him. De Gea, even if he goes on for another 10 years, Henderson is the better option, and because he's younger. But in terms of pedigree, I think it's very unfair to say that David De Gea is not good enough for Man United, because let's face it, apart from Man City, because Pep Guardiola likes to play with his feet, wants his keepers to play with his feet, and Liverpool, David De Gea walks into any top team in the Premier League at this moment. I know Arsenal fans will argue Bernd Leno is better, and some will argue Emi Martinez is good. But David De Gea is absolutely world class, and no other goalkeeper in the Premier League has consistently done what he did 2 seasons ago. So I don't think he's not good enough for Man United. Is he past his prime? I don't know. Is he at his prime currently? Definitely not. But goalkeepers play till they're much older, so we can't write him off just yet. I think he's a very good goalkeeper. His shot stopping ability is almost second to none. The problem comes in where we are conceding goals from set pieces because he's not very confident in coming ahead and collecting the ball. Now that is something he needs to work on. I think his distribution has improved this season. I think he's been much better both with his feet and throwing. I think he's been much quicker with his decision making, much better. So this is a real conundrum for me, and I think I don't know whom I would choose to be honest at this point. I mean, David De Gea is my favorite player in the team, even though Bruno Fernandes is there. David De Gea was absolutely sensational for us, and we must not forget that. But at the same time, I realize that we can't afford to lose a talent like Dean Henderson because he's proven it in the Premier League that he is good. But again, like I said, we have to accept then that he's going to make mistakes. It is going to be a learning curve. So I think this is a call that I think Oli is better placed to take. The board has already messed up the situation by not being able to secure a loan move for Dean in a top side because I think there were options. We could have even offered him to Aston Villa maybe for a year loan, even a 2 year loan. And there's always that option to call him back. So all these things could have been pursued. He could have stayed at Sheffield possibly, but we didn't sort of think this through properly. And he could have even played for a team like Everton were out for a goalkeeper. We could have even loaned him out to an Everton because Everton would have definitely taken him. But this is where the board has messed up once again. And while David De Gea has improved because of the presence of Dean Henderson, I think, but I think now if the choice comes down to one of the two, I don't think Henderson is ready. I don't think that I think it's wrong to say De Gea is not good enough. But then again, if you have to let go of one, I think with a heavy heart, I'd have to say you have to let go of David De Gea at this
Yeah, I think I have a couple of things to add here. Firstly, the board has obviously screwed this up very badly because we have a backup keeper who we pay 140 grand a week, and we have our first choice keeper is our highest paid player with 300 grand a week. So it's basically almost 450 grand a week for keepers, and that's ridiculous. I feel shouldn't have come down to that. Secondly, I think you're right. Dean Henderson will take time to get used to the number one role if he's offered, and we've seen that. Like he's not been like a very good keeper. Like he's been good, but he's not had great performances. He's messed up a little in the few times he's played for us. Also, I think De Gea, as you said, like he's my favorite player too. He's been through with us in the times when we've needed him so much. He's bailed us out of it's the 1-1 and the 1-0 victories. He's earned them for us. He's been phenomenal, and I think he faces a lot of flack, which he does not deserve. I think most of the goals that we concede are not his fault, and they are the defense fault or the CDM's not marking the players. But it's not the keeper's fault. But just because it's a goalkeeper, it comes directly down to him. Also, I feel that Dean Henderson is English, and I feel that there is that little bias for the English players. There always is the bias, and I think that's why De Gea he gets unnecessary flack. Although he's been very good this season, in my opinion. But I think you're right. If we have to let one go, it has to be De Gea. Because Dean Anderson is a keeper for the future, unless we can secure a very good loan deal for him, or maybe a buyback, sell him off with a buyback clause. I think um, if it's down to getting only one keeper, having only one keeper, I think De Gea has to go.
I think Priyan, it's also to do with the fact that De Gea is almost judged by David De Gea's standards, which he only himself has set in those 2 or 3 seasons where he was our player of the season. He was basically unbeatable. He was absolutely unbeatable. I mean, you remember, Philip Coutinho was started to celebrate, and somehow De Gea got there. Those 18 saves against Arsenal. I mean, there have been instances where he single-handedly got us 1 or even 3 points. So he's also judged by that standard. And when a player of that profile makes errors like he has, obviously the media catches on much quicker because people are out there to make those comments saying that this guy's not good enough. or these kind of things are just going around and people are waiting for good people to just fail. So that is also something that is there, and maybe the pressure has also gotten to him, because it all started with that Cristiano Ronaldo goal in the World Cup where he's let it through his hands, and from there he's never looked the same player. He cost us the Champions League quarterfinal against Barcelona. I'm not saying that we would have won it if it wasn't for his error, but he cost us that. He cost us the semi-final in the FA Cup versus Chelsea. So these are high-profile games where he's made mistakes which have led to our defeat. So there is a valid argument to be made that maybe he's done at United, but I don't think you can say that he's not good enough for Manchester United. He's done at United only because we're willing to give the rope to Dean Henderson because we see a certain talent there. But what happens tomorrow if Dean Henderson fails and David De Gea is gone? As I said, I don't see anyone in the world where you can buy and will be as good as David De Gea. Edward Mendy came into the Premier League at Chelsea. He looked good for 2 or 3 games and he looks all at sea. Like sometimes you watch him play and he has no idea what he's doing. He fills the goal because he's a big lad, but he doesn't inspire much confidence when I'm watching Chelsea play. So it's not it's not that easy to find a good goalkeeper who's assured of himself, who's confident. And I think David De Gea just needs to find his confidence back, and I think he'll be fine.
Right. So, guys, do let us know who you feel should be the United number one and why. Do you think it should be De Gea, the guy who's been with us so long? He's been our mainstay. He's been fantastic for us. Or it should be the new talent that is Dean Henderson, who's been pretty good, but uh, we don't know how he would perform when given the number one role. So that's all we have for you. We'll see you in the next one.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching our video. If you do like it, please click on the thumbs up and please subscribe to our channel. Click on the bell icon to get daily notifications from the United Star. Follow us on Instagram at the.UnitedStar and we will see you soon